Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode, I believe, 19 of Sorry We're Closed. It was supposed to be 20. It just could not happen. It wasn't going to be happening. My original plan was to do episode 18, get that going into the weekend, the idea. And then on Sunday evening, I was going to record episode 19 as a kind of a reaction to the weekend and how we thought it went and what have you. Unfortunately, it was such a crazy weekend. It just didn't happen. It wasn't in the cards. I was so tired. It just didn't work out. So you live, you learn. Figure it out for next time. So I shouldn't be missing any more Mondays or Thursdays. But still, we got it in. Figured some stuff out. Second off, I want to thank everyone for coming out to Green Rock this past weekend. It was unbelievable turnout. Saturday for the West Virginia game, and then Sunday football was insane. We had beautiful weather. Late night was just that cool fall type of weather where everyone was able to sit outside and enjoy themselves. And we didn't get in any trouble from the town, which is shocking. You figure you run into a little bit, especially during a pandemic and being outside. You feel you're going to bother someone who's going to call the cops. It's just kind of how Hoboken works. But we had the police department show up once for a classification issue, but they were as nice as it could get about it. We both didn't really know which classification I had, so we just washed our hands of it, and then we talked about it during the week to figure out exactly where we were at as far as that was concerned. So awesome weekend. Saturday we had the West Virginia game, which we are a West Virginia bar. If you know me already, I am a huge West Virginia fan growing up. It was a West Virginia bar before I got there, which was fantastic. Didn't have to change that because that would have had to have happened. But we had a great crowd. It was definitely the time we threw out the most people. That particular crowd didn't seem so keen on following some of the COVID rules. Our bouncers were instructed to build relationships with tables and people that were sitting so that people would be more inclined to listen rather than being mean and things like that. People would be more inclined to listen to us and help us, because that's really what we need. We need help. We don't, I told my bouncers I really don't want anyone being forcibly removed from the area, which we didn't have any of that this weekend. And I wanted to make sure that I would go up somewhere and ask them, hey, could you sit down? Or, hey, could you put a mask on? Hey, social distance from that table, please. You can't move your table. They'd be like, okay, I get it. We got you. Don't worry. And now that's how we're going to operate, and that's how we're gonna be better, and we're gonna be more efficient in operating under these guidelines if we're able to do that. So, West Virginia's crowd didn't seem to want to do that too much. I feel like we threw out maybe 15, 20 people just from COVID issues. The other issue that we had is we have a row of tables, a row of double-sided Johnsons. Now, double-sided Johnsons are TV stands that have 2 TVs on each side. So we had 8 of those. It means we have a row of 16 TVs. Then we have 2 other rows of tables as well, for a total of about 21 tables, give or take. So we had that happened, right? So then on that, with those TVs are all connected by wiring. Obviously, you got to get the electric out there and make sure that the TVs run properly, all of that good stuff. But we didn't want people walking in between the TVs. We didn't even want staff doing it, because if you were to take down one of those TVs, you were going to take down all of the TVs. Now, if that was not to mention the issues of now I have no TVs out there, and I just wasted a whole bunch of money on TVs. But you also have the issues of, if it hits someone, we might have a lawsuit in our hands. So it is. That was a particular rule that a few people did not want to follow, And, obviously when you throw them out, you get, their friend trying to come talk to me, be like, hey, can you get them back in? No, I can't get you back in. If you're going to not listen to the staff, I'm not going to go against my staff and be like, oh, yeah, sure, come on in, bud. No, because then my staff are just going to have to go yell at you again. Now they're pissed at me that I let you back in. So that particular, again, most of the crowd was fantastic, but you had a few people that really didn't want to get in. I call this one guy Bucket Hat, because that's what he was wearing, a bucket hat. And he just was adamant about going from table to table and going in between the TVs. Adamant about it. Now, going from table to table is illegal. Going in between TVs to get to another table is illegal. So we ended up having to toss the guy, and he was all upset, all butthurt at me. And he had some girl come over to me and be like, hey, you know who that guy is? I was like, I don't know him personally, but I know who he is, yeah. He's like, can you get him back in? I was like, absolutely not. I've watched him myself do all this. And, then he starts cursing me out from outside by the street, all that good stuff. Meanwhile, I got three of my enormous bouncers standing in between them. But that's not the issues we want. We don't want those people. And if you're going to give me issues like that, and then I say, listen, no, can't let him back in because of this, this, and this, and you're going to curse me out from the street, you're not someone I want in the bar anyway. And you were going to cause issues at one point or another, regardless of if I kicked you out then or if I kicked you out later. So if you reacted, hey, can I just talk to you? I'd love to be able to talk to you. You have a chance with me. Just talk to me. You have a chance if you handle it and approach it the right way. He didn't, and so he did not come back into the bar. Nor would I've let him in anyway. But that's it. But other than that that Saturday night was actually a really good night. It was like that perfect fall weather, where you're just able to sit down, kind of have a beer, watch the games, any type of football games that might be on, and it went really well. That's actually when the police department showed up. They have a different classification of different things, a streetery and a sidewalk cafe. One had to close at midnight, one had to close at 11. I thought we fell under the midnight thing. They thought we fell under the 11 o'clock thing, so we had to get that situated. They didn't shut me down, which was great, but they did want to get clarification on it for this week. We're still kind of waiting on that, but they were as cool as it could be for it, and really didn't want to bust our chops at all, but they just wanted to know which one we were. I did end up getting clarification on that this afternoon, which was great. We are actually at the streetery for 11 o'clock, but they're trying to do it's a whole thing. It's a mess. And then Sunday, we had no one thrown out to my knowledge. But we definitely had some people in there that were skeptical. I wasn't great. We had a group of girls come up that thought that the minimum didn't apply to them. We had an $800 minimum on the tables. Thought that they didn't apply to them. That's obviously just not a thing. Everything applies to them, but whatever. I'm gonna let you go. I'm not gonna bust your balls. I don't have time to really bust your balls anyway. I'm just gonna let you go. And then we had a bunch of tables that all wanted to be outside. It was a whole thing, but. Running this bar, and actually, I'm starting this docu series of Sunday Fun Days. It was mayhem on Sunday, so it just wasn't able to I was mic'd up for a little while, but we just couldn't get it. We had some good film, some film that was unusable. So it was crazy, but I know I have a much better idea going into week 2. So it was useful to have the guy there and filming for me, because now I have a good idea of what I want on week 2 and what I definitely don't want. So it was crazy how to run this place and how different it was to run this place during this pandemic and trying to facilitate, abiding by the town's rules. Abiding by the residents' rules, which sometimes are not the town's rules. Sometimes the residents want us to a higher standard than even the town does, and the town ends up coming down on us because they don't want to hear from the residents. So we have that. Trying to follow our own rules and make sure that because I hold my guys to a higher standard than even probably the city does, because if we get into trouble, I can't afford to get into trouble. Is really the thing. They have a policy right now where it's 3 strikes and they're going to get you in trouble for it. We didn't get any strikes, thankfully, and I think that's a fair policy. But we're trying to. I don't want to get. I definitely don't want to get strikes in the month of September. Who knows how long this is going to last? So it's a unique situation, and trying to navigate it all during this is really difficult. It's just tough to manage as far as trying to make all of this work while trying to pay rent, trying to cut expenses, trying to make some money on the side, trying to do all these things while the city doesn't, sometimes it doesn't feel like they care to try to let you work. But and then they do come around. It's crazy, guys. And again, you'll get a really good look at that when we kind of put this all together into this little docuseries that we got coming up, because I can't explain it well enough in a podcast to really describe it, really paint you a picture of what's going on during this whole process, because you have to see it. There's nothing I can say to really knock that down for you and let you get a real good vibe of what's happening. Really, like, the only thing I can do for you, explain a few things that are happening and hope that you get it. But to see it is really what we want. To see, after once the 1:00 games end and we kick those people out, we bring in the 4:30 seating. To see me and my bouncers out in front of Green Rock, figuring out who's in which group and social distancing them, and seeing what kind of havoc that creates, and attempting to try to do that and have people listen to us while we do that. And then to see, as I'm doing that, my partner trying to seat people as fast as they can while we're walking people over on the other side of the wall. Before they even get over there, you have my servers and waitresses going crazy trying to wipe the tables down and make sure that they are ready to go for the 4:30 games, and that they're as energetic as they were for the 1:00 games, to keep these people happy, entertained, and excited. And to do all of that, to pull all that off, along with following all the rules and the CDC guidelines and Governor Murphy's executive orders, it's a process that takes more than words to explain and to show you. It needs the video. You need that. And it's tough to really grasp. But with that being said, we got week 2 coming up. Week 1, we survived. I had way too much to drink on Sunday. I only had a bacon, egg, and cheese from Dunkin' Donuts, which is the size of my thumb. So that didn't go well. So it took me a long time to recover. Not to mention working back-to-back 14-hour shifts, and then on Friday working a 12-hour shift. Took me a while to recover. If you've noticed at all, I've barely been on Twitter all week and Instagram and anything. I've been doing nothing. So managing that along with my own personal life and trying to make sure that Sorry We're Closed is what I want it to be. And my Instagram, my Twitter, and all that stuff is pushing out the things that I need them to push out. That has been the biggest challenge going into these weekends and trying to figure that out. It's essentially running 2 businesses, and it's not easy in any capacity, but trying to navigate that, trying to have the city and everyone happy with us over at Green Rock while running payroll and all the day-to-day clerical stuff that you have to do, and then go over here and be like, when you run a podcast and you run your social, a lot of it's based off impressions and how many impressions you get onto these types of things, and people seeing what you're doing. That's what marketers want to see. It's what advertisers want to see. They want to see how many impressions their company will be getting by advertising with you. Now, if I don't tweet, because the podcast is still small, trying to build it as well, but if I don't tweet and if I don't put out episodes, or if I'm lackadaisical, if I don't put this out and make sure that everyone is still engaged in it, engaged in the stories that I want to tell you, it'll never grow. It'll never get better, and we'll never get to a certain point. But that takes a lot of work as well. So having Green Rock and having this other company that's a new company trying to form, but a company by myself and Miranda, it still takes a lot of work. And trying to now, okay, listen, this past week can't happen again. I can't have Friday, Saturday, Sunday go the way it went, even though it was great for Green Rock. I can't have Monday and Tuesday to recover. I need to be ready to go again Monday afternoon to get back on the horse to get this stuff going again, which means that I got to taper the Jameson shots. I got to taper maybe the tea times. I need to be ready to go Monday afternoon so I don't miss 2 days of work, because I can't miss those 2 days of work. Not to mention anything that gets caught up behind on Green Rock on Monday and Tuesday that I missed. That can't happen. So trying to find that balance while also being fun for the customers and being, people don't realize you take a shot with me. It's, Pat only took a shot with us. Yeah, but I got 30 tables there. And, I'm friends with 15 of them. I'm making friends with the other 15. And, everyone wants to take a shot. Everyone wants to do a cherry bomb. Everyone wants to do a Jameson shot, or they want to do a White Claw. Everyone wants to do that. So that adds up pretty quickly for the guy who's running around trying to make everyone happy. And so finding that balance for everything is really what's going to make all of this work. I didn't anticipate sorry we're closed or anything, in my other job, taking a hit in any capacity because of Green Rock weekends. I thought it was the perfect time. You don't get a lot of impressions on the weekends. Everyone's out having fun. No one's really on their phones or on Twitter. So I was okay. That was perfect. And then I was like, right when I get back going again, once Monday comes around, I'll be ready to go. Well, that wasn't the case. 29 years old. I don't recover from liquor the way I used to recover. I've never worked these long shifts before, where I'm on my feet, running around all the time. And I just flat out can't in a startup podcast and in a social media. I'm not trying to be Barstool or anything like that, but like in a startup podcast and an internet and like a website and all that stuff, like I gotta be ready to go. I can sleep in Monday, but I can't take the whole day off. I sure as hell can't take Monday and Tuesday off. So trying to work that, and I'm sure you guys have had the same stuff and different things that you do, especially you entrepreneurs out there who are going to take 2-3 jobs, who are going to work your 9 to 5 and then come home and work another job to try to, make more money, or try to, maybe you don't like your 9 to 5. Maybe you're trying to make this side hustle your main hustle eventually. And so you're working these big shifts and then working on the weekends just like I am. I don't have a day off. So that was honestly the most stressful part of the whole thing, was having Monday and Tuesday be washes of days. And it's flat out just can't happen going forward. But again, with that being said, we got week 2 coming up. We had a great week 1. Let's hope we have another great week 2. If you were at Green Rock this past weekend, thank you. I know some of my listeners were there. They said hello to me, and I appreciate that. It's pretty cool to see some people that are actually taking the time to listen to my podcast. I actually had a guy come up to me and talk to me about how, about the podcast and multiple episodes in the podcast and what he thought I, did great on some of the things. He's like, yeah, I think this would be helpful if we heard. I'd love to hear about this too. Giving me that feedback, giving me those ideas at Green Rock is a great way to help me as well. So if you're not, come. I might turn you down for a Jameson shot based off this past weekend, but come have fun with us. Wear your damn mask, social distance, don't go in between my damn TVs, and we'll have a great time. But with that said, guys, I appreciate you guys listening. We'll have another. I won't be missing this next Monday. I'm planning this much better this week, and I will be ready to go come next Monday to have that podcast released at 5 a.m. every Monday and Thursday, as always. But again, with that said, guys, I appreciate you listening. And until next time, I'll see you at the bar.